pretty much taken me all day to finally get round to recording this, fatherhood life and all that. And I think more importantly, just because after the long break I've had, I'm finally back at work tomorrow. Which, mixed emotions to say the least. Why am I even saying mixed emotions? I'll be real, they're not even mixed. It's just where I can't believe I'm going back to work already. Sorry, let me reposition this, peoples. I'm coming to you raw right now. Yeah? Because I told you guys consistency. So if I'm inconsistent, I'm a liar to myself. And I can't do that. So, yeah. If you see me looking stressed right now, it's just thinking about going back to work, man. If I haven't said already, if I didn't let people know, I work in the education sector. Sounds real fancy. I work in education. So, yeah, man, it's a different ball game. Obviously, no matter what job you sort of do in life, right? You're always working with people. Always. That never changes. Do you know what I mean? But I think the difference with working with young people is, especially in this day and age right now, is they are literally they're just at a point. I don't know if it's culture or society, but they're at a point where they're just so used to bringing everything to the table all the time. And by that I mean all their emotions, all their feelings, all their thoughts. They don't hold nothing back. And you know what? To some degree, I suppose that's actually a privilege that, whether through trust or whether through, a lack of self-awareness, or whether through just sheer, inability to process those things on their own, as we all were like as young people. I know I'm still young, but I mean, teenage years and that. Just being an adult in those environments, man, you really realize that, wow, people have stuff going on, but more so than that, they just chuck it out. And of course, when you're younger, sometimes you're taught, but a lot of us are not taught. And I think it's probably the way I think anyway. And there's definitely a longer video I want to do on this, because I've got a lot of, I think, thoughts, feelings about how education is right now and the responsibilities adults have from different perspectives, i.e., the people that work in the sector, but also, parents, and then people in the community, how we can all be helping younger people, I think, be a little bit better at processing their thoughts, feelings, emotions. But not only just processing, also helping them to learn how to properly share that. Because I think when you don't know how to share, you kind of chuck stuff out and people react in different ways. It can shut down your ability to process emotion healthily, or even shut down your ability to share comfortably. Because if you share how you feel and someone doesn't respond in the right way at the right time, sometimes that can put a dampener on you and make you feel like, oh, you know what, it's not worth it. And I think that's what also contributes to a lot of this sort of, you know, mental health pressure. I'll put it that way. And I say negative mental health pressure because I really have a big bee in my bonnet about when people say they've got mental health. Everybody's got mental health. Whether yours is positive or negative is a different thing. I can't stand it when people say, I've got mental health. What does that mean? But look, I ain't here to rant about mental health. What I am here to say is that I'm back at work. And actually, it's quite sad. Just knowing that I'm going to be, not around little Tottenham babe for a set number of hours a day now. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. Even though I knew work was coming back, I'm disappointed, man. And maybe it's just a bit different for me because I was at church today and I was saying, somebody was asking me, like, is it a shock to the system having a kid? And I was like, I mean, yeah, to a degree, because, certain things really shift. Like, I'm really feeling the sleep deprivation. Last couple of days, I was really feeling it. I'm taking multiple naps a day. I feel like I'm 80 years old. So you definitely feel it there. But more so, the shock comes in just how how I think, anyway, what I've realized is how conscious you become of wanting to protect your own interests, your own time, your own energy. Because all of a sudden you get another human being come into the mix that isn't asking you whether you want to do this or do that. They are theoretically demanding you to do what they need. And you can't say no. How are you going to say no? You can't say no. So, it changes things. It changes things because you have to then be aware of your own emotions, your own thoughts, your own feelings, what you need, equally being increasingly considerate of your partner's needs. And I say partner not because I'm trying to make a lack of distinction. I say partner because when I'm talking about my wife, that's now my tag team partner. It always is that in marriage for me anyway. And I think that's how it should be for all of us. Especially if you're in married couples, you should always be looking at your spouse as your tag team partner. Yeah. But when I say partner, I really mean partner in terms of you have to almost have an increased clarity in communication, because both of you are suffering in order to succeed. Yeah, both of you want the same goal. You really want to raise this child correctly. You really want to give them a good life. You really want to make sure that they're eating, sleeping well, they're healthy. But both of you have limits, have needs, have emotions, thoughts, feelings. And if you don't work on your clarity of communication, it can mash things up. It can mash things up because you can find yourself being in a situation where you're saying, I really want to go and do this, or I want to break. Whilst, meanwhile, you're not thinking, what? I'm saying I want to break, but does the other person want to break? I think my camera cut off, people. What I was saying was, yeah, it's easy to sort of think, oh, I want to break, I want to rest. You just need clarity of communication. You need to be, what I've learned, is that, you just need to be able to communicate clearly and honestly and say if you need a break, or, ask the other person, like, are you all right? Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do the nappy? Do you want me to go to the bottle? Because especially when you're doing those 2 a.m., 4 a.m. feeds, nobody's trying to get up. I'll be real. Nobody's trying to get up. It's not easy. It's not easy to get up. I don't know if I said it before, so I'll have to go and check when I review the footage, but both of you are suffering to succeed. You're suffering for success, so you're making a sacrifice and suffering in order that you can have success in raising this child. And it's not easy. But what we're at least trying to do is just continue to communicate openly, honestly, being real with each other. I mean, we do that in our marriage anyway, but just even more so now because it's easy just to assume, or it's easy just to be like, oh, I'll just take a little time here, and just think the other person's just going to pick it up. But everybody's stressed, everybody's working flat out. And in some ways, I feel like it's similar to working in the education system right now, because I guess it's post-COVID, I don't know, but a lot of what is going on, I'm seeing, and I'm hearing people say in schools. In fact, I was talking to a guy I met today, shout out to him, man, who is working in a school down south near London. And he was saying, yeah, just post-COVID, like, it's just something different with the kids, man. It's just energy's real high. There's a lot of angst, a lot of going on. And so I think right now, a lot of people, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you work in an education system as well, you'll let me know, but everybody's flat out, man. Emotionally flat out, physically flat out, because the emotion drains the physical too. Flat out, man. Doing their best to just try and provide a stable, healthy, nurturing environment for students to work and grow in. And that's not easy. And without clear communication, being honest with each other, and everybody sort of pitching in and working as a team, whatever that looks like, because you've got to define those values clearly, because sometimes people see team as different, and much like I said in last week's video about family, people see things differently, so you have to define the values and what you want the culture to be clearly, so people don't get it miscommunicated, and so you don't end up judging other people for thinking they're not pulling their weight when it might not, those sorts of things, because without communication, it's easy to confuse things. So yeah, everybody's flat out, and much like what I'm finding with fatherhood right now is that both of us are flat out, and me being back at work sucks, because truth be told, I don't want to go back to work. I don't want to go back to work because that's flat out, and that's a different flat out. That's a flat out that doesn't protect my interests, because my interests are my kids, my family. It's a flat out where it requires a different kind of fatherhood, one that is emotionally alert and invested, but you can't be as hands-on. You can't be as, and by hands-on I mean you can't assume that you're going to be able to do things your way and it'll be understood your way, because everybody has a different way of thinking, seeing things. Whereas when it's your child, you can set the tone. You can set the tone at work, but you also then got to contest with the other tones that have been set for other human beings in their life. And so sometimes you're just at war, and you can't make the same amount of progress. So that's what I'm sort of, if I'm being really real, dreading about going back. And I'm sure that there's people from work that'll probably watch this and be like, oh, so he don't like us. Nah, it ain't about you. It's about me. It's a breakup video. It ain't you, it's me. So yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna miss being at home with baby, man. It was a sick time. Praise God, because it's a miracle the way the child's birth fell. It fell perfectly so that I got that good chunk amount of time off. And honestly, it's never going to be long enough. Because if I could, I'd spend every waking moment with them, man. I spend all my days with them. It's my family now, so, it's a different vibe. It's not just I'm hanging out with my girlfriend or just chilling with my brother's kid or something like that. If you know me, my brother doesn't have a kid. Before somebody tries to come at me or say what? No. So yeah, I'm gonna miss it. It's gonna suck. But we move. And such is life. And man's got to do what man's got to do, so man's got to get back to work. Yeah? Graft and grind, lock in, and get through, the weeks as they go by. And it's a privilege to have a job. Some people don't have jobs. It's a privilege to be challenged. Some people don't find that. It's a privilege to be stressed in some respects. Because at least it lets me know that I'm alive, I'm kicking, my emotions work very well. My emotional receptors are firing correctly. And it's hard to do when it really sucks. Because it really sucked. The last couple of weeks before I went off, it sucked big time. It's really hard to see the privilege in it, but whatever happens in some capacity, there's privilege involved in it. And I have to remember, and I always try to remind myself, that whatever stress I feel or other people feel, the perspective has to remain the same and stay the same. And I have to have in my heart and in the back of my mind that, you know what, to some degree, I have it far easier than other people. I mean, my country's not at war. I'm not in famine. I'm not struggling for food, money, shelter, or resources. And my biggest issue is that I have to go back to work to earn more money to live. In a job where I'm not being called out of my skin to do stuff that, demeans me or places me in a position where I'm having to do things that go against my moral code, character, or my value system. So, I'm blessed. It's stressed, but I'm blessed. And with that being said, let me give you the good, the bad, and the ugly from this week. I'm going to look it up in my notes because I wrote it down. Right, here we go. Good, bad, and ugly. Good, a lot of love from friends and family, especially in the church community. Shout out to my church people, man. People have been showing mad love to me, babe, and baby. Mad love. Super appreciate it. Makes a difference when you got good community around you, man, because, I just don't know how people survive without it. So that's been a good thing over this week that I've seen. And again, super blessed. Super blessed. Have to give a lot of thanks and a lot of grace and glory to God for that, because community's key. Shout out to my dad as well, man. Rang my dad the other day, I think, honestly, Friday, Saturday, I don't know. Man, we was on the phone for time, man. He was just dropping gems, giving me the jewels. So, again, just love from friends and family. Shout out my mum, shout out my auntie, my sisters who came and saw the baby recently. Shout out babe's side of the family as well. Aunt Sal, shout out to you if you ever watch this. And babe's dad, brothers, Dawn too. Big shout out. Lucy, big shout out. And the nieces and nephews, big shout out. Yeah, love ya. Yeah, so that's what's been good. The bad, my arm hurts. Actually, really funny. I'm saying that. I'm being silly, but this week, man, I got a little spasm. I had a little like a strain, like a little spasm in my thing, man, because I've just been resting little tot there. But obviously, she's been getting chunkier. She's been getting chunkier, man. So because she's getting chunkier, it's just like a little bit more weight. Now, I ain't calling her big girl, you know what I'm saying? But she growing up into a big girl, which is a blessing because she's healthy. But that was the only thing I can think of that has actually been bad. She's been sleeping a lot better. And we've been sleeping a lot better. Which leads me into the ugly. Yeah. The ugly side of this, that again, like I said, we don't show up. The sleep deprivation has kicked my behind this last week, where it's not even that you're not sleeping a good amount of hours collectively in the day. It's just that it's broken up. Yeah, it's chiseled at. Yeah, it's cut away. So you're never getting 6 hours straight. You're getting 2 hours here if you're lucky. Hour and a half here, 45 minutes there. yeah, and just over time it builds up. In fact, we haven't played a football game in about a month. We played our first game on Saturday, and I think little Tot was up at like 2 a.m. and then I slept a little bit, I think, like 2, so she went back to bed about maybe 2:45, I think, something like that. I can't remember fully, and then I woke up again about 5, and I was looking after her from about 5 o'clock all the way through to I had to get up for the game to play at 10, and I was zonko conko, bruv. I was last. I had a Lucozade and I had a coffee that morning. I felt like I was, like them old school TV desktop, the set top boxes. It's the fuzz. That's why my head was. I felt like I hadn't played football in years. And the worst bit is I've been going, like I've done like some runs in fitness. I say a run, may not be cheeky, but I've done a run. I've been trying to do fitness stuff in the week to like get prepared, and just it felt like everything was just mash because of the sleep deprivation. So yeah, that's the good, the bad, the ugly. That's Daddy Diaries Volume 6. And I said consistency. This will be up by Sunday 16th. This will be up. Whether you watch it then, different gravy. But I said one a week, and I'm sticking to it. So yeah. Anyways, look, love my peoples. I need to go get to bed. It's been real. Pray for us. I'll be praying for you. Love you. Stay tuned to the Kosher Life. More vlogs on the way. I like the vlogs. Let me know what you guys think of the vlogs, man. I'm just enjoying them. I'm really putting some heart and soul into some of the ones that are coming out. Yeah, I got a 3-part London series coming out. I got a France series coming out. I got stuff coming out. Pay attention. Pay attention. I got stuff coming out. Subscribe. Let your friends know. And lock in. It's your boy, King Quest. Stay blessed, aka Kosher. I'll see you next time. Love. Peace. The guzzler. That's why we call her the guzzler in this house. Guzzler extreme. Drinks milk like a freaking full raptor. Crazy.